Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin draws it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it 5-4.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit to deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winning. It's a winning. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over.
And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2.
In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching. No bunt. Ground ball.
By the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. And this one belongs to the Reds.
That's it pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
Swung on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you pay him the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. Oh, he gets one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Hello, Reds fans. Today is May 9th, 2025, and the Reds play today. The Reds play again today. All is not lost. We are excited. We're here. This is Mike speaking, but we are the pregame show for Chatterbox Reds. And with me is the guy who actually drove the van from Omaha to Houston to bring up Will Benson, Ricky Logan. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. It is a wonderful Friday night. Thank God we're out of Atlanta and we can move on to Houston.
That's right. That's right. So let's start with some breaking news that we had come across the wire earlier today. Austin Hayes was activated and Will Benson was called up and the corresponding moves were done and Hurtubise were sent back down to AAA. What are your thoughts on that, Ricky, and how you think that's going to affect tonight's game?
It was something that needed to happen. Neither one of the guys have really produced in Dunn and Hurtubise. It was kind of shocking that Hurtubise was the one that was promoted originally the first time, just being, he was batting like 194, batting 9th in AAA, and he's got 2 guys ahead of him in the lineup that were just crushing home runs, and that's what our team needs right now is we need guys with power, and we just brought up a slap hitter who's not hitting.
Yeah.
Dunn, he's got a lot of speed. He's pretty good in defense, so he had a spot, I believe. He's kind of like that Fairchild replacement. He's expendable, obviously. But and then getting Benson and and having Hines up now and Hayes, just having Hayes back in the lineup, it's exciting. I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah, that's the big one for me. Austin Hayes, I think that he just adds so much depth to this lineup.
Yeah.
Just, putting people in the spots that they were designed to, like when they were forming this roster at the beginning of the year, with him in there, it puts people like Lux and Steer and even Espinal back in the spots that they were brought here to do, rather than asking them to do things that maybe they weren't expected to do at the beginning of the year or don't do very well. So yeah, I'm excited about Benson too. Mostly because what you're getting from Dunn and Hurtubise was nothing, right? So yeah. Even if he struggles striking out, like if we get what happened, like Hines, right, struck out a few times, but got a hold of one and got a home run, and having that threat, I believe, that's just really important, especially off the bench. We'll get to it later. It looks like Benson's not actually starting in the lineup, but we'll talk about when we might see him. But I agree that I think that is, I'm just excited for something new, right? When you're in a funk like this, it's really, sometimes you just need a change. And hopefully Benson is able to bring that spark, that energy, and that we can see that and, translate to the rest of the team. So hopefully we'll be able to see some of that later on in the series. One more move to talk about, actually. Hunter Greene was officially put on the IL. And Chase Petty was recalled to be his replacement. I was a little surprised they didn't bring another bullpen arm first, because our bullpen, we'll get to that in the pitching path to victory. The bullpen is pretty spent after that, having to cover 6 innings for Greene and then going into extras yesterday. So what are your thoughts on Petty and his second go round he's gonna get to go about doing today or this week?
I'm expecting a better performance out of him. I think he just had first game jitters, major league debut, playing a decent lineup in St. Louis. They're kind of sneaky. They're not terrible. And maybe I'm assuming he might get a start on the road. So that might help a little bit too. He had a really good outing in AAA in his first game back. I think he went with 6 no-hit innings or something like that. So I expect him to be pretty good.
Yeah, and we'll go into starters for the rest of the series, but it looks like Petty is actually probably going to be starting in the next series, which is, I'm not sure. I think that's at home, but I think it's against the White Sox. So it's like,
yeah, I think it is.
There's your landing spot to be able to
that's what you
go
want
up against a bunch of AAA hitters, and hopefully he's able to reproduce what he was able to do in AAA.
Yeah, AAA is being modest.
Yeah, well, okay. They got Luis Roberts still, but besides that, we'll see. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, actually, first, everybody like the stream. We need all the help we can get. We are mired in a funk. There's not only the Reds team, but the fan base. The last couple games really broke us, it felt like. So the Reds need the fan base. We need all the help we can get. So please, please, please like the stream. It's not only going to help us at Chatterbox Reds be able to get this on more people's screens, but it also helps the Reds, scientifically proven. So if you could get out there and like the stream, that would be great. All right, let's talk a little bit about this lineup facing Hunter Brown for the Astros. Ricky, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're planning on seeing in the lineup today?
Yeah, we got TJ Friedl leading off, playing center. Matt McLean staying at the 2-hole, playing second base. Elliott shortstop, batting third. That's been his mainstay. And our guy, Austin Hayes, making his return, DHing. I think it's good too, giving him a little bit of a kind of an extra pseudo day off, not playing in the field, give his legs some rest. And then Gavin Lux playing left. I like Lux playing left field a lot. Spencer Steer at first. It's always a good sign to see Steer playing in the outfield. But like Trey said on the post-game show last night, he's got to get better defensively and offensively. He's got to prove himself. Tyler Stevenson catching. That's a good sign too. Just seeing him playing out in the field. Jake Fraley making his return tonight, playing in right, and Santiago Espinal playing third base, batting ninth. And I like that. It's almost like a second leadoff hitter batting ninth, and I think that's a good role for him.
Right, especially against right-handed pitching, right, where he's struggled. I say struggled. He hasn't been as good as he has against left-handed pitching, but he still doesn't strike out much. He still, will shoot a ball the other way, and it'd be great for him to get on base and then turn it over to the top of the lineup and hopefully get a rally started. I agree with that. Hayes in the lineup, I think, does so much for you. I really hope that we see Benson at some point tonight. Obviously, people are going to think, well, we brought him up, but then we started Friedl. But I would, Nick Kirby, our fearless leader, he pointed out on our Discord earlier. I thought he had a pretty good point. He's like, we're going to get to it, but Hunter Brown is a nasty pitcher. Hunter Brown is really good. He is the ace of their staff, and he is, he's
one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, letting him go out tomorrow against a righty that's making his second start in 3 years. And I could even see him as a pinch hitter, maybe for Steer or something like that, as we get into the later innings or something. And I guess Steer, then somebody had to play first. But I would imagine that he might get a pinch hit appearance in there, and it would be great if he'd be able to connect in and pop a home run for that one. That would be, boy, Trace and Nick would go nuts. That happened.
Yeah,
even though
it's in the ninth.
Yes, even though it's Eric and Corey T tonight on the post-game show, Nick will be silently watching from his house, holding his baby, fist bumping when that happens.
We would probably hear him screaming from Cleveland.
Yeah, probably. Let's get to our starting pitcher, Nick Martinez, coming off a couple good outings. He struggled a little out of the gate, but his last 2 outings, he's only given up 1 earned run apiece. What do you have on Nick and his matchups with the Astros today?
Yeah, he's 4-4 all-time versus the Astros in 14 appearances with a 3.88 ERA. He's only had 9 starts, though. A lot of those appearances are from the bullpen. Active Astros are 17 for 71, with Altuve being 7 for 30 with the home run, Rogers being 2 for 10, Walker is 4 for 9, and Isaac Paredes is 0 for 6.
Nice. It's decent.
It's decent.
Yeah, that's decent. And I could really go for that if that's how we end up handling that. Because really what we need length. And if you look, we can go to the lineup. We can go to their lineup that is going to be facing Nick Martinez. There's a big notable absence, right? Their all-star bopper DH left fielder Yordan Alvarez still on the IL, which is huge. It's just huge. So good. He's had injury trouble, but when he's been healthy, boy, he is nasty. He's very, very good. So we dodge a bullet. And frankly, that's the offense is where Houston's been struggling. They've been pitching pretty well, but they haven't been able to hit as well, pretty similar to how the Reds are. But the lineup that he's going to be facing, Jeremy Pena, shortstop leading off. Jose Altuve actually playing left field, not second base. They're moving him around a little bit. Remember, Houston has that short porch left field, so there's not as much room for him to do. He's and just kind of expecting him not to make any amazing plays, but not to make any terribly awful plays. Isaac Paredes playing third, batting third. Christian Walker, their free agent signing, batting fourth and playing first. Yainer Diaz, their catcher, batting fifth. Jake Myers at center, batting sixth. Zach DeCenzo playing right field. Brendan Rodgers from the Rockies, former Rocky, DHing, batting eighth, and Mauricio Dubon batting ninth and playing second base. So you already mentioned some of the potential matchups there. They've been an offense that just has been underperforming, just similar to the Reds. Christian Walker was their big offseason signing, and then he really struggled out of the gate. Isaac Paredes came from the Cubs. So, and he, didn't get off to such a flaming start, but is there anything that you want to point out, or maybe that you're expecting to see maybe from this matchup with Nick Martinez?
Yeah, I'm kind of keying in on Jake Myers. He was their 13th round pick in 2017, which he's kind of an example of baseball just being baseball. Like, you never know who you have until they show up, honestly. And he was a two-way player at Nebraska. He pitched and played in center field. He's got a really good arm, too, but just being a pitcher. In May, he's batting .474 with 2 home runs, 6 extra base hits. And for the season, he's batting .297 with 13 RBIs and 7 stolen bases. He was also the first Astro ever to go 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and a triple in the same game. He's quick too. He's an 89th percentile in sprint speed. So if he gets on base, he's going to run. So I'd like to limit him if I'm going to limit anybody in the lineup. He's one I'm really keen in on.
Yeah, he was somebody that I think people had talked about trying to target in a trade when we were looking for outfielders because they were pretty active in the offseason here. So, you know, that's a good one. If you notice, everybody's right-handed. It's a completely right-handed against a righty. So it's very interesting.
Very anti-analytic.
Yeah, well, I think it's just kind of the hand that they've been dealt with injuries and stuff like that. They have a decent amount of people on the injury list. And then obviously their big bopper, Jordan, who's left-handed, would have been right there in the middle of the lineup. But let's move to Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown, man, this guy is great. This guy has been so good since about halfway through last year. He has been incredible. Do you have some stats on Hunter Brown before on what he's been able to do so far this year, Ricky?
Yeah, so far this season, he's 5-1 with a 1.67 ERA. He's got 6 pitches. He's got a 4-seam fastball, a sinker, a knuckle curve, slider, changeup, and a cutter. He relies mostly on his fastball and his sinker, but he was their 5th round pick in 2019. And he's just great. He kind of got under Verlander's wing for a little bit, and I think it just really helped him. And yeah, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's all I can really say about him. He's someone that it's probably a good thing that Benson isn't playing against him just because of how good he is.
Yeah. It's very interesting that he actually grew up near Detroit, I believe, and he grew up idolizing Justin Verlander. Like I've seen side by sides where it's like him pitching and Verlander pitching in their very similar windups. So it's pretty cool that he then got to be on the same team as Verlander and, really blossom under him. It was very interesting because he was actually really struggling last year, and he made a pretty specific change. He basically stopped throwing his 4-seam fastball as much and started throwing a sinker, which is basically almost the same speed as 4-seam, but breaking the other way, right? It kind of tails away or the 4-seam kind of, looks like it's rising, and the sinker obviously is doing the opposite. So he basically removed throwing a cutter and started throwing a sinker more, and that is when all this success happened. He really dialed in his pitch mix, and that's been working, man. He's been very, very good. He's got 2 fastballs that look very, very similar but move in opposite directions, and that frankly makes it very hard to hit. So he's been very, very good. He gave up 3 runs against the White Sox, I believe, in his last outing. But besides that, he's just been nails. And I think he still leads the league in the National League, or I guess the American League, pitching in FWAR. So he's just like he's mowing them down, which is, hopefully that means that things seem to be stacked against the Reds, but. Here we go. It was greatest time as ever to bust out. Optimistic John saying we need Ellie and Matt to get hits. I'd love that. I love everybody to get hits. It's going to be hard. This guy's good. I think it's going to be difficult, but I think if we can, scratch across a couple, maybe manufacture a few with, a steal or 2 or a sacrifice fly, which we were unable to do a little bit last night. I think that we're really going to need to win on the margins here today. I've seen some things in the chat too about Will Benson coming in and DHing, or not DHing, pinch hitting, having a home run, and Reese Hines getting a home run. It's like I would love a pinch hit home run, but I wanted to ask the chat what's our expectation for Hayes tonight? What do we think his batting line is going to be? I know remember his first game back, he hit a home run. And a couple hard hit balls when he came back the first time. What's your expectation for Austin Hayes coming forward tonight? What's yours, Ricky?
I'm going to go all out. So I'm going to see a bomb. He's going to hit one over the short porch.
Nice. Oh, dude, that'd be great. Just he's out in front of a curveball and then one of those knuckle curves, and he comes and he just kind of golfs it over because when you're hot, you're hot.
Right over the Crawford boxes.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love that a lot. All right, let's move to the pitching path to victory. And I'm not going to lie, this looks a little bleak when it looks towards the Reds, but you know, extra innings. We needed six innings of relief work 2 nights ago, and we went into the 11th last night. So we have some pretty spent pitchers. It looks like the only pitchers that did not pitch yesterday were Suter, Barlow, and then Pagan and Santillan, because they were just unavailable from going so much. But what do you think our pitching path to victory is tonight, Ricky?
I'm hoping we have a lead going into the 6th or 7th, and I'm really confident in Tony Santillan. Nick talked about it a couple days ago on the postgame show. Just him, kind of being like forgotten about. He was really kind of, he was there a prospect in 2023 or 22, gets hurt, has a lot of hype, and then I think he gets DFA'd, and then he goes through that process, works his way back. And now he's one of the best relievers in the game, and it's really good to see. He's thrown 50 pitches in his last 3 games, but he had the day off yesterday, so that I think that makes him available. Maybe I wouldn't do what they've been doing and pitch him 2 innings. I'd go with 1, and then I'd like to see Suter if possible, because he's low key been kind of good. I mean, you don't want him in a high leverage spot. But let's say if you get a 2 or 3 run lead, you can kind of get him out there. Or if you're trailing like by 2, you can kind of keep him in 2, and he could be one to kind of hold him. And then Pagan not pitching yesterday, I'd like to see him go out there and get the save.
Yeah, I would really love for Martinez to get through 7, the 7. If he could get through 7, boy, that would be just
awesome.
Huge. And they just go Santillan, Pagan, close her up. Have a good one. We'll get to what our predictions are later in the show. So stay around for that. But it looks like Optimistic John is living up to his namesake, and he says Hayes 2 for 4 with a double. Boy, I'd take that.
Let's go.
Let's add 3 RBI on there, and that'd be even better. So, man, I really hope that he's able to do something close to that. That'd be great. All right. Oh, and by the way, Houston had the day off, so they basically have everyone available in their bullpen. And remember, if you don't know, Josh Hader is their closer. So we saw him a lot in Milwaukee, and he has come and he had a few rough patches, but he's been pretty good for them. Kind of back to his old nasty stuff. So, boy, I'd really like to avoid not having to face Hader.
Yeah.
So it just let's just get a lead and hold the lead. We got Mike Kane saying that Martinez will do 4. Boy, I hope that's not true.
Oh, let's
hope we get more than that. This bullpen needs it. And yeah, we'll see. All right, let's talk about weather. Is there a weather report today, or is the roof closed? Do we know? I know that what used to be called Minute Maid Park, and now it's called something else. I forget what it's called, but it's got a roof, but I think it's probably closed.
It's mostly clear skies, 78 degrees with the wind blowing in.
Okay.
I don't think Swish Analytics has whether
not
it's
the roof's
open or closed, but
okay.
It's a nice
Either way,
day. I don't think it's going to be too much of a factor.
Okay.
It's not going to be too windy, but the wind is blowing in.
Yeah. I mean, the only real factor is that short porch, right? I think that you can, it's not the Green Monster in Boston, but you can really flip one over there. You can get there's plenty of home runs that happen only in Houston. So yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's talk a little bit about the rest of the series. I believe in Joe Hendry. I thank you for the 19 months, Justin. That's great. I appreciate that. We appreciate anyone that subscribes to Nutcutter Nation. So I appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the series. We got Brady Singer going against Lance McCullers Jr. Tomorrow, and then Andrew Abbott versus Ronel Blanco. So Lance McCullers Jr. for the Astros, he's going to be making his second start since 2022. He missed almost 2 full seasons with an injury, and he his first start he only went, I think, not even 4 innings. Didn't give up any earned runs, but I think they're kind of babying him. So I would imagine that he probably isn't going to go very long again. Hopefully he is he's able to do that and go and we'd be able to get to the bullpen. So hopefully that one will work.
Yeah, he's had a lot of injuries over the last probably 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
He had Tommy John, a flexor tendon issues in 21 and through 23. Had a back injury, shoulder problems. Yeah, 2021 ALDS. He had a flexor tendon strain that later turned into a partial tear. So a lot of injuries.
Yep, and hopefully Singer can give us some length. And his last start didn't look as good because of that terrible call with Tyler Callahan in the back.
Yeah.
Like those are that was a catch. And because of that, he has 2 more earned runs added on there that definitely should not have been there. So,
and you don't blow the play dead either. That's just
right.
kind of crazy.
We don't need to dwell on that. There's been a lot of people yelling about that one for a long time. And then on Sunday we have Andrew Abbott versus Ronel Blanco. Ronel Blanco very famously threw a no-hitter last year, but has been pretty average this year. I think only just under 5 ERA. He was not a big prospect and then came up and all of a sudden was doing really good. I think he then got popped for sticky stuff. At one point last year, he did throw a no-hitter. So, take that with what you will. But I would imagine that, he throws a lot of changeups, pretty good changeup. Hopefully we'll be able to get a good start out of Abbott. And I think that's, Benson hits a bomb off of Ronel Blanco, and everybody is loving everything that we can get back now from Benson.
Yeah, for sure. Blanco, funny, has a lot of home run in 5 consecutive starts.
Even better. Well, make it 6 because Benson's going yard. Book it. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's talk a little bit about that NL Central rundown. And before you do, please go like the stream. Everyone in there, yes. I appreciate all the comments, but likes equals wins, and boy, we need one. So please, everyone, if you haven't, go up and like the stream and do your part to help with the Reds out. All right, give us a NL Central rundown here, Ricky.
Yeah, those pesky Cubs. They're leading the division. They are 22-16. They're playing the Mets tonight. The Cardinals are at 500. They're playing the Nationals, and the last time I checked, they were up 2-0. Milwaukee's also at 500, tied with St. Louis. They're playing in Tampa tonight. We're in 4th. We're a game under 500, playing against Houston. And those Pirates are 12-26, coming off firing their manager, and they're taking on the Braves.
Well, let's hope the Braves hot streak continues against them. I wanted to point something out. Molly brought something up. He couldn't understand Friedl leading off. Yeah, well, I mean, against a right-handed pitcher, I think that's probably your best option for it. And remember, Friedl basically won us the game 2 nights ago, right? So yeah. It's not like of all the people to be worried about, Spencer Steer, Matt McClain, even Tyler Stevenson has been, sneaky, not very good. I think he had a over 5 strikeout game in there since he's come back. So, of all the people, I think Friedl, he's still getting on base pretty well, and I don't mind him up there. Optimistic John, why Fraley over Benson? We talked a little bit about this beforehand. Obviously, you feel better about Benson based on what Fraley has given you, but to be honest, Hunter Brown's just an ace, and I think he's probably saving that debut for him coming back for just a not as difficult pitcher, because Benson is such a vibes and confidence guy that you really would want that. You should really want that. Hopefully that can build into him going on a hot streak like he did in 2023.
Yeah, and we don't want another versus Verlander situation, which right. I get it. It's not fair. You come in, you face a Hall of Fame pitcher, you go 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts against him. You come in, the reliever comes in, you just happen to strike out.
Well, it's that guy that throws off the shoe tops. Is that that submarine pitcher? Yeah.
Taylor's twin, or not his twin, but are they twins? Yeah,
I think they are twins. Yeah.
And Reds, they're like with Hunter Brown, his mix. It's tough, and I guess going with Fraley, I guess you can make the argument, I guess, but I would like to see Benson, like you said, just come in confident and be kind of relaxed, and having the pitcher coming tomorrow is like having him haven't pitched in like 900 days. I think it's what it is, 974 days. Like
one time pitching. He pitched a week ago. But besides that,
but other than that, I think that's a better situation for him too.
Yeah, I agree. Now, to be clear, if I were making the lineup, I would have Benson in there over Fraley.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
So I'm not trying to say that isn't what I think should happen. Yeah. But I'm just trying to say I get why Tito might be doing this. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's of all the moves that he's done over the year that I've disagreed with, that's not that high on the list at the moment. So, all right, let's get to our what to watch for, and then we can get to our predictions. What's your what to watch for, Ricky?
So no more Friday night candy.
Yeah, I know.
Santiago Espinal has recorded an RBI in 5 of his last 6 road appearances against the Astros, dating back to his time in Toronto.
Against the Astros. That's right. This dude loves playing in Minute Maid. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a plus 310 for him. So that's a good one. Yeah, and then Gavin Lux has 2 hits in each of his last 3 appearances versus AL opponents. That's a plus 400.
There you go. Mine has to do a little bit with Gavin Lux there too. That plus 300 on Santiago Espinal is probably less on Santiago and more on Spencer Steer, Tyler Stevenson, and Jake Fraley batting in front of him. To get an RBI, you got to have people on base. And well, let's hope that we got some of that on that. My what to watch for is actually about Austin Hayes. I am super stoked that he is coming back. And do you know who also is super stoked? I think the Reds lineup is.
Absolutely.
I did some breakdown of how the Reds offense has looked with him and without him. And in the 16 games before he came back, when we started the season, the Reds offense had a 61 WRC plus. Remember, WRC plus is compared to the rest of the league. So 100 is average. So if you're 61 as a whole offense, that means you are 39% below average. And that was equivalent of negative 1.1 F4. That's bad. That's really bad.
Not good.
And then Austin Hayes, the savior, comes back for 13 games. And listen to this. The Reds offense, not just Austin Hayes, the whole Reds offense jumped to a 145 WRC plus and a 5 F4, right? 145. That's 45% better than average. That is almost right. That's almost an 80% swing. Like, what are we doing? That's awesome. And, we could talk a little bit about what that is. That's not all Austin. Austin Hayes is obviously hitting well, but, Spencer Steer had a 100 WRC plus when Hayes was in the lineup. Gavin Lux had a 256 WRC plus when Hayes was in the lineup. So, some of it is, I think Lux got really hot, but some of it is we're just able to use Gavin Lux, Spencer Steer, people like that in the ways that they're supposed to be used, right? We didn't have to bat Lux against left-handed pitching. Spencer Steer could get the proper line of protection. And frankly, Ellie is going to see better pitches because, there's somebody behind him that they can actually fear. And then, unfortunately, we have 10 games where he was on the IL, right? And look at that, 65 WRC plus and negative 0.4 F4. So it's pretty clear this team misses Austin Hayes. The whole offense misses Austin Hayes.
All of Cincinnati misses Austin Hayes.
Yes. So we are so happy that he's back. We really need that. And I'm just excited to see what he does to the offense and how he's able to really jumpstart things and, just provide better protection and allow us to use people in ways to make them successful. And that's going to include Benson. That's going to include Fraley as well. And some of these other people McLean and all these different people. So I'm excited about that. All right. Now is the time to get out your crystal balls. Everyone, it's time. Your Magic 8 balls, shake them up. We're going a little long here because we had a lot to say about Will Benson. Yeah. But it's time to give our prediction. What is your score prediction? Nobody got it last time, but the Reds still did get a win. I think our record is 6-1, so I'm not to brag, but boy, sooner or later, Nick's going to have us doing more and more pregame shows. But everybody put in the chat what they expect the score to be. And while we wait, Ricky, I am giving you a chance to start us off on what you say, on what your prediction is for tonight.
I think it's going to be low scoring. I think just based off of Hunter Brown's season and Martinez's last 2 starts. I think he's going to continue that trend. I'm going to say that Brown is going to go 6 innings. He's not going to allow a run, but we're going to get some hits. And then once we get to the bullpen is where we're going to shine. And we're going to get 3 runs. Martinez is going to give up 2, and it's going to be 3-2 Reds.
I like that. 3-2 Reds. Optimistic John says 4-2 Reds. That's good. I still like that we are we're still have Reds wins here. We're bad when we start predicting Astros wins. But are we playing against Fairchild? No. Good, says Mike Kane. That's true.
I will say this. We have won 9 straight versus Houston.
Oh, yeah. I did mention that, too.
9 straight.
We have swept three series in a row, right?
Outscored them 18-8 last year.
That luck is definitely not going to end. So I agree it's going to be low scoring. I think that the bullpen bounces back in a big way, and they shut them out. Nick Martinez is great. Bullpen is nails. And they scratch 1 against Hunter Brown and 1 against the bullpen, and they win 2-0. That is my prediction. Any other predictions in the chat here? We'll show them before we get done here. So you said what? 3-2.
3-2.
2-0. All right. I'll make sure to pin that I'll pin that comment as well if you want to make a prediction after we're done. But yeah, tonight. We have Eric and Corey T. Phillips back on the post-game show. I think they did.
Go give them some love. They did a great job.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be celebrating a Reds win. Yeah, this Molly thinks it's going to be ugly. I hope that's not the case. We're always optimistic here, even though at least Ricky and I we're optimistic. We think
the only thing ugly is going to be the city of Houston tonight. They're going to be crying tears after a loss.
That is right. It would be great if we could even get, we can even get those runs off a hater, make it even more sweet. But yeah, Eric and Corey T are on the post game, and yeah, go over there and give them some love. And game starts at 8:10 tonight, so lock in for a little bit later. But hopefully, we'll be celebrating a Reds win at the end. Any more predictions in there? It looks like I think we might have gotten all the ones that got posted. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Please like the stream. It's scientifically proven to help the Reds win. Please subscribe to Chatterbox Reds so you can get any notifications for any other content that gets put out there. Please, post your comments too if you have any I guess feedback, things you want to see, other things part of it. But thanks very much. As we're leaving here, we got a Red 7-4 from Dunny 17. So as we leave here, I need Ricky to hit me with a Go Reds so that we can head out for a winning edition of Reds baseball.
Go Reds.